Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep! Today we are covering every reason why Boruto can surpass Naruto and Sasuke in the future of the series. Basically doing a bit of power scaling on how strong Boruto has become. This video is in collaboration with Ian from Naruto Explained, so he will be covering parts of this video with me and Yusuf. Now, I know this is absolutely blasphemous to say to OG Naruto fans.
Don't say it! Don't say it! Don't say it!
But you gotta understand how the story has developed. For example, we witnessed Naruto's generation becoming more OP and stronger than Kakashi at 16 years old. No one batted an eye because that's how shonen are written, where the young cast of characters achieve something that the older generation couldn't, which means the natural course of action with Boruto's series would be for them to achieve the same results against Naruto's. I will prove why this is the case with the environment Boruto grew up in and how his genetics have played a role in how strong he has become and why he could surpass Naruto and Sasuke. So let's begin with the fact that Kakashi literally confirms that the next generation will always surpass the previous one. It's one of the never-ending cycles in life. Whether you decide to take this point literally or not is down to you, but Kakashi sensei himself already confirmed that Boruto will naturally surpass them. Remember, in chapter 342 of Naruto, Kakashi tells a dying Kakuzu that the new generation will catch up to you and they will all surpass you in the end. Now at the time, these words hit hard as of course Kakuzu had survived many generations being from the era of Hashirama. Kakashi telling him the new generation will always surpass those before made sense in that instance as well. Kakuzu lost to Naruto, which by the way Naruto and Kakashi already recognized Boruto as a chunin with jonin level techniques that put him above the rest of ninjas.
God damn!
Now I'm gonna give you guys a history lesson. What the fuck was that? I'm trying to do like, I don't know. But look, relating this back to real life, if you look through the history books to times like the Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age, all through to the present day, you can see how, as a species, we've surpassed our ancestors in healthcare and technologically, right? Applying this logic to Boruto, we can understand that techniques and knowledge of chakra is being relayed much easier to him, where jutsu that was seen as complex in the past are now broken down easier due to the hard work of the people before. Take a look at Boruto learning how to put the lightning release in his Rasengan. In turn, this created the vanishing Rasengan, something entirely new. Kakashi himself admitted that this was impossible for him to achieve, and he ended up creating a variant called the Chidori. Minato also couldn't figure out how to apply a chakra nature in this A-rank jutsu throughout his lifetime due to dying so early, but I'm pretty sure he would have if he had more time, and you know he's one of the GOATs. Sasuke was absolutely shocked witnessing Boruto achieve such a feat so easily with the vanishing Rasengan, where he created a whole plan revolving around this ability against Momoshiki Otsutsuki. It was one of the major reasons why Sasuke brought Boruto along to the fight, and how he started to believe that he could surpass Naruto and himself one day, which he admitted himself to Boruto. Boruto has grown up in an age where he literally has the best shinobi as a dad and another as a master. Not to mention the other ninja around him are also stupidly OP and gifted that pass on their wisdom onto him. For example, Kakashi helped Boruto achieve the compressed Rasengan. It's only natural that the skill level has risen, which means Boruto will learn more than they ever did by that time. Knowledge is power after all. Creating something out of raw concept is much more difficult than passing the idea on. Why would Sasuke say Boruto can surpass Naruto if he didn't mean it? Sasuke isn't stupid at all. Don't disrespect my GOAT like that. Batman Sensei. I mean, he's one of the best amongst all the shinobi when it comes to the best judge of strength and character. Sasuke sits on top. For example, his analysis on Isshiki and Momoshiki Otsutsuki, breaking down powers and strategy instantly to help them defeat their opponents. Boruto's training with Sasuke has made him become skilled in Shuriken Jutsu, able to change weapons trajectory mid-flight and coat his shuriken in lightning release. He's also learned his father's various sexy techniques, which mind you, I'm not saying is really a bad thing, so say but Naruto's one of those,
Don't say it!
At Sasuke's insistence, Boruto learns how to perform the Resengan from Konohamaru Sarutobi after extensive practice, initially doing so with both his hands. He achieved this within 5 days, whereas Naruto and the others took months. Unlike Naruto and Sasuke, Boruto had literally S-tier facilities throughout his life. In his childhood, Boruto had better training opportunities in comparison. For instance, Boruto was trained by the best shinobi from birth, first by Naruto before he became Hokage, where Naruto trained with him whilst only being an academy student. Naruto briefly contemplated going all out. In the academy, Boruto quickly established himself as the second top student, only behind the much older Iwabe, who Boruto could still compete against. Boruto was also trained by his mother Hinata and later the Hyuga clan leader Hayashi and his aunt Hanabi on top. There was also Konohamaru and Shino, but did you guys really want to know that? Because anyway.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Another way to judge a shinobi is based on their summoning. While not all summons are created equal, with some being small like the hawk that Sasuke used to fight against Danzo, and others being taller than the tallest of buildings like Jiraiya's multiple toad summons, one of which includes Gamabunta. The reason why this is so important is that summoning jutsu can actually be used to take a peek at how powerful a shinobi is. After they produce a bit of blood on their fingers before weaving the hand signs, according to the first Naruto fan book, the amount of chakra gathered by a shinobi determines the size of the summoning. Naruto, when he offered 2 little chakra, summoned baby tadpoles, and when he offered a massive amount of chakra by borrowing on a small part of the Nine-Tails chakra, Naruto could summon Gamabunta, which was very impressive given that summoning Gamabunta has been stated multiple times to require an enormous amount of chakra just to pull off, with only Minato and Jiraiya being the only modern day ninja who can pull off that feat. Now that we've established that, we have to look at Boruto Uzumaki. While Boruto doesn't have the same monster chakra levels that Naruto had, Boruto still possessed enough chakra to summon Garga, who is pretty massive in size. While it's never been directly stated that Garga requires an insane amount of chakra to summon, like it was stated multiple times that summoning Gamabunta required a lot of chakra, Garga is still pretty massive when it comes to size. By default, the size of the summoning correlates with the amount of chakra that is offered up for the summoning jutsu, which means that Boruto had to dig pretty deep into his chakra reserves in order to summon him. Now, Garga was powerful enough that even the White Snake Sage considered him to be a bit of a problem, and he was powerful enough that the only snake in the cave who had the balls big enough and the strength to back up challenging him was Aoda, who happens to be Sasuke Uchiha's trusted snake summoning, the same Aoda who was able to foderize with ease Jubi clones while helping Sasuke move closer to the Jubi's main body during the war arc. The same Aoda who Sasuke in the Sasuke Sunrise novel used to snap apart a typhoon, and Aoda did so with ease, all for the sake of allowing Sasuke to counter the jutsu with the lightning release that would have killed the ninja that Sasuke was fighting, a man named Kawaki, before Chino used Katsurugan Genjutsu on Sasuke. Now, even if Garga is inferior to Aoda in power, he's still a pretty powerful snake summoning and is still very large in size. It's one thing to enter into a contract with Garga, but it's another thing to actually have enough chakra to be able to summon him in battle, which is still a requirement for a summoning jutsu, which is even more impressive given Naruto at Boruto's age, using just his own chakra, wasn't able to summon beasts near this size and instead needed to draw on a small part of the Kyuubi's chakra in order to do so. That's not to say that Boruto has chakra levels at the levels of Tailless Cloak Naruto, but that does have to say a lot about his chakra levels though. Another thing when it comes to summoning jutsu is the fact that Boruto and Naruto both had a bit of trouble with the summons that they burned an enormous amount of chakra in order to summon. Gamabunta more than once pretty much looked down at Naruto, and Garga through his actions made it clear he didn't fully respect Boruto. However, just as Naruto won over Gamabunta through his constant display of guts, Boruto won over Garga by using his Jougan Eye, which allowed him to tap into Garga's emotions and allowed Boruto to make an intimate connection with Garga, thereby making him easier to control, which is just as impressive as Naruto's run with Gamabunta. He was able to summon Garga even after going through the trials and being out of chakra. The Snake Sage said that it would be difficult to summon Garga and control him, but he did it anyways. Boruto summoned him multiple times and used the Pure Eye in order to understand his emotions, which is another power that this Akira Jojutsu has, the power to do use speech no jutsu and ninjutsu very effectively. It's also worth noting that learning the summoning jutsu is something that was more difficult for Naruto and Sasuke compared to Boruto. Now, moving on, when we look at his past during the Genin graduation exams, Boruto went head to head against Kakashi, where he referred to him as being a cut above the rest and he called him a real genius. Now, mentioning how Boruto had the skill of a tuning, bear in mind this was Boruto before even becoming a Genin, which means that he was 11 years of age, which means that an 11-year-old Boruto was drawing a level of praise that Kakashi had not given to a child since he complimented a 12-year-old Sasuke, stating that during the bell test, Sasuke was extremely talented and that Genin shouldn't be able to use change in chakra nature, as shown when Sasuke used the fireball jutsu. Kakashi doesn't dish out praise very easily. You have to be very talented for him to actually give it up to you, which says a lot about Boruto in the academy, as well as later on in the series during the next set of interactions. Another thing to take note of with Boruto and Kakashi is the fact that in the Sasuke Shinden light novel, The Teacher's Star Pupil, Sasuke states that Boruto has mastered Purple Lightning, which is very important because Kakashi is the only one who could have taught him that jutsu, which would make Boruto the second person who's learned Kakashi's new jutsu, with the other one being Mitsuki, who used that jutsu in the manga in the battle against Ao, which means that Boruto and Mitsuki, both of them being prodigies, they caught Kakashi's eye enough for him at some point to teach them that jutsu off screen. This is very important to take note of because Kakashi never directly passed down any of his jutsu to Naruto, whereas in Boruto it is strongly implied in the light novel referenced earlier that he did pass on his own jutsu directly to Boruto. However, their next interaction is even more important because we actually see Kakashi training Boruto on screen.
When we skip to the deeper arc, whilst Kakashi was teaching Boruto the compressed Rasengan, he stated that he had the genius of Minato in him, combined with a larger chakra pool, obviously not to the levels of Naruto, but better than an elite Jonin. Boruto within a week created a new version of the Rasengan that could pierce through deep as carbon, which we know composes the hardest element material in the entire world, such as diamonds. This new Rasengan was described by Kakashi as lethal, where it would kill any single person that it was in contact with if they had no defensive jutsu. Boruto being able to cut through compressed carbon that Deeper utilized immediately puts his power a cut above the rest, where this compressed Rasengan would be able to destroy the most powerful of defensive jutsu such as the Susanoo or Gaara-san. I mean, since we are on the topics of genetics, I might as well mention the Pure Eye, a Dojutsu which Boruto possesses that no one else has. It stems from the Otsutsuki clan and gives him alien-like powers. We covered the Pure Eye Jougan extensively in the past regarding why Boruto has it, so I won't dive deep into it. If you truly want to learn the lore behind the Pure Eye, please watch the video being displayed to you right now. You must hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the uploads next time, and make sure to smash the like button for this video so we can bring you more collaborations and more long-form Boruto content, because we need to know that you enjoy this shit. The Pure Eye gives Boruto abilities such as space-time ninjutsu, something which is so inherently rare that only the Otsutsuki and Sasuke possessed it. After losing the Rinnegan, only Boruto code Kawaki from the future and Amado's Sarada technology will be able to cross dimensions. Boruto's version of the space-time ninjutsu is considerably OP since it requires less chakra. We witnessed him use it multiple times when he was only 8 years old. If Boruto mastered this with the help of Sasuke, who also possessed this power, he would replicate Minato and Sasuke's feats due to the speed and utility it provides. The Pure Eye also lets Boruto know the weakest point of a person, which is the biggest advantage anyone can have. It's literally broken hacks. Naruto fights are all about strategy and figuring out someone else's weakness in the first place. Case in point, look at Naruto defeating the third Raikage during the war using his big brain. However, since I've established that Boruto is already a genius and now has the pure eye that tells him the weaknesses anyway, this just saves a lot more time and gives him an advantage. We witnessed this ability being used against Momoshiki, Urashiki, and New. For example, this would explain why Boruto was able to dodge Momoshiki's attack, a god that was to combine Otsutsuki, where Naruto and Sasuke were struggling and no other ninja could face Momoshiki in this form as they would get bodied immediately. Must I remind you what happened to the Hokage? They couldn't dodge Momoshiki's punch, but somehow Boruto dodged one. Like, what? When Boruto went to face Momoshiki to give him the big bull Rasengan, Boruto's pure eye was active, which was letting him perceive the movements before they happened, like the Sharingan. This feat with the pure eye active lets us know how useful this ocular power can be, where it created an opening for his Rasengan to hit Momoshiki and keep him distracted. Even Boruto's shadow clones will have his pure eye, which makes it completely busted. We also see the pure eye help Boruto against Urashiki. He was preemptively able to see where Urashiki would be teleporting and exposing the use of his space-time ninjutsu, therefore allowing them to survive. These unique powers will help Boruto surpass Naruto and Sasuke. As Tonori said, it is the star of hope that will help against Code. A common theory in the community is that Boruto's pure eye is the combination of all Dojutsu Otsutsuki possess, meaning the pure eye possesses powers of the Sharingan, Rinnegan, and Bykaugan. It can also perceive the flow of chakra, enabling Boruto to see the visible changes in one's chakra and likewise track a target through their chakra. It can clearly see the chakra pathway system. The evidence goes further when we see the Otsutsuki God in chapter 55. Why would a so-called god have a weak dojutsu? A god would have the best of the best to live up to that stature and have supreme dominance over the galaxy, as Isshiki Otsutsuki claimed to Code. Isshiki told Code to consume chakra fruits all over the galaxy and planets to become the god he wished to be, and this is by having the pure eye and power that is uncontestable. This is why Momoshiki claimed Boruto to have strong Otsutsuki genetics, because he seems to have something the main branch would have and are striving to achieve. Remember that Urashiki even recognized the pure eye and he is from the main branch, which makes this have this correlation. As you can see, the Otsutsuki God is seen to have over 100 pure eye, where this dojutsu is originally from their clan as it represents the purest of chakra energy in their world.
Okay, now that we have moved past Boruto's genetics and natural genius, let's move on to his training, techniques, and powers. Diving deeper into the invisible Rasengan, we can see that it's a jutsu which has even caught Momoshiki off guard, whereas Delta, who possessed the technologies, was able to detect it, meaning that there are slight counters for a very specific circumstance. But regardless, to make this happen, Boruto manipulated the nature of his chakra. This was all subconscious, where he admits this himself. Naruto, in comparison, as a child, was deemed unfit and a failure to be a ninja, but Boruto has received nothing but praises for his accomplishments. In this aspect, Boruto and his father have very different origins. Naruto worked his ass off to get to where he is. He had no parents or guidance, whereas even the Nine-Tails Kurama was also hindering his chakra performance. However, Boruto was born very gifted with no drawback, where this aspect of his character is also used as a plot device for character development, to the point that even his adopted brother calls him a brat. Even us, the audience, felt he was spoiled at the start of the series. But in the terms of writing, Boruto was given everything on the table. The son of the Uzumaki Hokage and the Hyuga clan. Both his parents were blessed with chakra from Hagoromo and Hamura Otsutsuki, individuals that were children of Kaguya. Therefore, it's not far-fetched to say that Boruto has it way easier and better than his father ever did. But that's not to say that's a bad thing. In fact, it's because of this that Boruto can thrive and really excel at being a ninja. He has all the tools at his disposal to surpass Naruto and Sasuke. The evidence for this can be seen with comparing the two generations. If you take Boruto and compare that to the others around his age back from the previous generation, we see a big difference. Let's compare Boruto to Sasuke, a natural gifted genius for his time and now his sensei. During the bell test against Kakashi in chapter 7, we see Sasuke use fire style, which Kakashi goes on to say is way beyond what he should be capable of. Achieving such a jutsu should be difficult due to his chakra not being developed enough. So if a single fire change in chakra style was enough to surprise Kakashi, then just wait until you learn what Boruto is capable of pulling off. During the same bell test we mentioned earlier, earlier with Kakashi and Boruto, we see Boruto pulling off lightning change in chakra as he coats his kunai with it. He also uses wind style to propel his shadow clone with his iconic Boruto stream. This achievement alone and change in chakra nature puts Boruto at the levels of genius you would see in Minato and Itachi. Yes guys, you heard me right. And to be fair, that's not a far-fetched understanding. We have to also remember that Minato and Itachi grew up in wartime, whereas Boruto grew up in a time of peace. So his skills and even the advancements wasn't showcased as much as it was with Minato and Itachi. However, the genius is still there. The intelligence, the skill, and ultimately the talent. Which brings us to the next point. Boruto later goes on to show that he also can use water style as he did with his fight against Ao. Boruto is still at this point a genin and has showcased insane skills in using 3 different changes in chakra nature, including creating an entire tidal wave, which by the way he did without any nearby bodies of water, which shouts a testament to his skills, as when Tobirama achieved this, it was noted as proof of his position as Hokage. Wait a minute, does that mean that Boruto has Hokage level feats as a genin?
Impossible.
Well, usually learning a change in chakra nature like this would take massive amounts of time, even more so when it's not your natural affinity. As we know from chapter 315, Naruto was able to shorten this process down to create his Rasen Shuriken by creating 1000 clones. Boruto could never do this as he can only make a handful of clones at best, meaning even if he did use this technique, it wouldn't be anywhere near the level of Naruto. Kakashi even pointed that this is a unique process for Naruto as he has an abnormal amount of chakra. To put things into perspective, in chapter 316 of Naruto, Kakashi stated Jonin level shinobis would have at least 2 chakra natures, where Naruto at this point was just learning how to imbue his wind release into his Rasengan at the age of 16. Sasuke at the age of 13 to 16 only had 2 nature types, fire and lightning. However, Boruto being a prodigy, only at the age of 12 to 13, being just a simple genin, is able to apply his natural talent of 3 chakra natures into his jutsus. This is why Kakashi himself says that Boruto is already at Chunin level. Also, if you were to speak about Boruto's potential, it's likely that he will have access to fire chakra nature. Reasons being nature release are usually inherited and a part of one's genetics. Both Hinata and Naruto have fire release, so it wouldn't be far-fetched for Boruto to possess it too. And the key thing to note is that only a select few shinobis possessed all 5 natures from normal means, and if you do, it means that you are a cut above anyone else. However, we also know that dojutsus like the Rinnegan and having 6 paths in jutsu gives full understanding of these nature types, so it's also likely that Boruto's Jougan might assist him in mastering every nature type eventually. In conclusion, what we can take away from this is that the reason why Boruto will eventually surpass Naruto and Sasuke is that he could essentially do what both of them could do at that age plus more. Naruto's big trick was shadow clones. Check. Sasuke had a huge advantage due to his change in chakra nature. Double check.
Creating your own ninjutsu is one of the signatures of being a shinobi. It's part of your identity as a ninja to go through the trials and errors of creating your own jutsu. Sometimes you fall on your face like Kakashi when he tried to add lightning changing chakra nature to the Rasengan and instead ended up creating the Chidori. Boruto Uzumaki follows a similar path here. Boruto, as an academy student, had already created his own signature jutsu. Although it's not as extravagant as the Chidori, it's still something very impressive because he's doing this in the academy, whereas other characters did this after they became Genin. The jutsu that Boruto created was the Boruto Stream. It combined his mastery with shadow clones with his mastery of the wind release to use the Gale Palm Jutsu, performed by 2 of his shadow clones to send Boruto flying through the air to dish out attacks that are oftentimes mixed with lightning release. Now, it's a pretty effective jutsu, and I'll show you how. So Boruto during the Chunin exams actually cracked Shinki's Iron Sand using this attack, but Boruto ran out of chakra just after cracking the Iron Sand, and then that's when Boruto used Purple Lightning via the ninja tool to absolutely demolish Shinki right after that. So you might be asking, why is this so important? Well, this was Boruto at the age of 12. Naruto by the age of 13 had not actually created his own unique jutsu that he himself created that could damage his enemies in battle by this point. Naruto was taught stuff like the Rasengan, but that's not jutsu he created. Now let's look at the most recent jutsu that that Boruto created, the thunderclap arrow. So Boruto was challenged by Sasuke to relearn the basics of lightning release jutsu during the tuning exams. Now, in the gap in time between the Momoshiki arc and the Vessel arc, Boruto was able to create the thunderclap arrows off screen, hurling lightning release jutsu that can do enough damage that is pretty impressive, and it speaks volumes about the level of chakra control that's needed, especially when you consider the fact that Boruto has less chakra to waste than Naruto does. Obviously, the third jutsu that he created was the Vanishing Rasengan, which we mentioned earlier. Naruto, by comparison, wasn't able to do something similar until Naruto was almost 16 years old. Let's be blunt here. Boruto's chakra control, in our opinion, is at a genius level. First, we have Boruto, who also has a mastery of the gentle fist fighting style, which comes from Hinata, having confirmed to have trained Boruto in the fighting style during the light novels, as well as Hanabi stating in the Parent and Child Day novel that she wants to oversee Boruto's training in Hyuga clan fighting styles, and Boruto has been shown fighting in that manner during the tuning exams when fighting against Shikadai. Boruto also, according to the Boruto character profile in the manga, as well as the Sasuke Shinden light novel, The Teacher's Star Pupil, has also mastered Purple Lightning, with Sasuke in the novel comparing his new jutsu to that of the Purple Lightning and confirming that he's seen Boruto's Purple Lightning perform. Purple Lightning is a jutsu that Kakashi spent a year and a half creating after the 4th Great Ninja War and was meant to be a replacement for the Chidori to be used by someone who has no Sharingan. Next, not only did Boruto learn the summoning jutsu and the Rasengan like his father, but he took it a step further at a much younger age. Naruto does not make multiple versions of the Rasengan until he has fucking Sage of Six Paths chakra given to him by Hagoromo, chakra from all 9 Biju, and complete understanding of all things chakra. Essentially, Naruto has a cheat code to be broken. It took Naruto until he was almost 17 years old to make multiple Rasengan, like the following: the 9 different Rasengans that Naruto was able to make from the chakra natures from the 9 Biju, the Biju Dama Rasen Shuriken, and the Biju Dama Rasengan. Boruto has no 6 Paths chakra and is still learning the depths of chakra natures, but he's already created 4 different variations of the Rasengan. Finally, Boruto has created a superior wind release Rasengan that is different from Naruto's version. Now, to be clear, we're not talking about the wind release Rasen Shuriken. That is a different jutsu. We're talking about the wind release Rasengan. When Naruto first made the jutsu, it was a basic wind release jutsu that had small blades rotating around it, and it had to be used in the same way as a normal Rasengan. This is the jutsu that Naruto used in his training that damaged Kakashi's arm before he went to go fight against Hidan and Kakuzu. Boruto not only created a wind release Rasengan that looks different, but Boruto's being green in color and having large chakra rings circulating around it, but he can also throw the Rasengan to damage his opponents. Kakashi was even shocked when he saw that Boruto had created during his training, and was further shocked again when he saw Boruto create a second Rasengan during their training when he made the compression Rasengan.
Alright, now let's talk about Boruto's intelligence, Nindo, and what makes him a ninja. That is great. We have seen time and time again in the anime of people praising Boruto for his genius. If I can remember correctly, Gaara, the other Kage, Kakashi, Sasuke, Naruto, Oniki, Jiraiya, Shino, and Anko have called him a genius. Boruto gets high grades even though he doesn't pay attention in class. Remember in episode 5 of the anime, Boruto solves an equation which looked pretty complicated. His classmates thought he was gonna fail at it, however Boruto created his own way to solve the problem, showing creativity and high levels of intelligence. He even does this in every fight he's encountered in. Owabe even mentions how Boruto slacks off in class, yet he is able to solve a problem like that, to which Inujin replies saying that Boruto just has a knack for these things. Even during the academy graduation final exams, Boruto scored a perfect score, getting the highest grade anyone has ever received. The one thing Boruto lacked in the early stages of his ninja career was drive and motivation. We all know this. Naruto and Sasuke questioned if he will have the will of fire a shinobi has, but Boruto eventually did believe in the system and the Nindo of shinobi when his naivety started to disappear through experience on missions. The ninja world Naruto helped build has caused a prosperous future. However, the war and other key information has been top secret according to the laws that were created, where certain knowledge isn't being taught, which would cause Boruto to be naive in the first place. Boruto was ignorant of many things and is finding his own Nindo to be just like Sasuke and Naruto. We see Boruto's maturity and Nindo solidify after his fight with Aoi, for example. It was actually a beautiful metaphor for the direction in which the series is heading, with Kawaki saying the shinobi world is over. Aoi mentions how he is a new breed of man thanks to the technology given to him by Kara, no longer being a ninja but something far superior. However, Boruto managed to combat this ideology by actually combining the two. Boruto was able to change his views on ninja tools, seeing how he could use them for the benefit of the people, which is a complete 180 to how he thought earlier on in the series. Boruto in fact grew to despite ninja tech, believing that they went against what made a ninja due to his experience in the Chunin exams. But he was able to understand he was wrong, comprehending that what's really important is the way they are used and who is using them, as opposed to the ninja tech being inherently wrong from the get-go, just as Sasuke told him. Boruto was able to bring Aoi back to being a shinobi in his dying breaths. Aoi even tormented Boruto, telling him to avenge Mugino, but he refused. Rather, he took the moment to unload a big old truth bomb on Aoi, telling him as a shinobi, his power isn't to be used on those unable to fight, killing the wounded, and that Aoi can use what he has, the tools at his disposal, for good as it is. It's the person at heart that matters. He tells Aoi to not give up on being human and he should strive to live on as one. This is very similar to Naruto's feat and speech against Zabuza about how shinobi are not tools. Boruto was able to not only overcome his own stubbornness and accept where he was wrong, along with working towards amending himself and gaining maturity. Remember, actions speak louder than words, but actions without words mean nothing, and Boruto proves this, meaning that Boruto has inherited Naruto's strongest jutsu. You guessed it, the talk no jutsu, bitch. Boruto showcases much of his talent against Aoi, where he single-handedly takes him down and creates the strategy for the group on how to defeat him. Konohamaru is supposed sensor just sitting there knowing nothing and witnessing his greatness. His shuriken and explosive tag skills are on full display after training his potential with Sasuke. He always deduces many fights on his own and relays the plans to the others. He made sure Aoi's chakra was drained by the scientific ninja tool and tricked him with a big brain. Now I'm passing the video on to Yusuf, where he will explain the karma.
Okay, now we move on to Boruto's Karma, where if he wasn't broken enough already, with this he literally becomes a kami. As we know, Boruto was bestowed his karma by Momoshiki, where he then became a vessel for Momoshiki's spirit and later reincarnation. Whilst this time being a vessel, Boruto's body and literal DNA changed into Otsutsuki DNA. This is so that his body is suitable for Momoshiki to resurrect it. Currently in the manga, we know that Boruto is already at 80% Otsutsuki, but before I go into the change that the karma is doing to Boruto's body, there are also many abilities he has gained from it, as when activated, the karma significantly enhances the user's physical abilities and the power of their jutsus. As we see during Boruto's training from chapter 29, with Kawaki's statement along with Naruto even noticing the change in power and speed once Boruto's karma is activated. This power boost is also showcased later in chapter 32 during Naruto's fight with Delta, when Boruto activates karma on his own to enhance his invisible resembles. So by this point, it is showed that the karma seal once activated will give the user a huge power up in overall strength. The karma can also absorb chakra and chakra based attacks, where Boruto has become more proficient in using this aspect of the karma, as seen in chapter 58 with his bout against Kawaki. Karma can also be used as a medium for space-time ninjutsu, opening rifts to any location including foreign dimension at will. In chapter 49 and 55, Boruto showcased he was able to open portals all by himself. Eventually he will be a master at this, possibly even as good as Sasuke in traveling to different dimensions. However, from the looks of it, it seems that the karma has a vast range of abilities, many of which has yet to be revealed. Code, who also has a variant of the karma, was said having a massive boost in strength to even excel Jougan. Now, as we explained in all our previous videos, the white karma might be more orientated to battle than the means for preparation of a perfect Otsutsuki vessel. vessel. This showcases that the karma has a lot more potential, even with replenishing chakra itself, as seen when Jougan used his karma to absorb the Jubi chakra in preparation for his fight with Naruto and Sasuke. Once Boruto masters the karma, he will be able to negate any ninjutsu, replenish his chakra reserve, and enhance all of his existing abilities and stats. And now this brings us to our earlier point that this karma is evolving Boruto into an Otsutsuki, ultimately giving him access to the unique abilities of the Otsutsukis. We know this from Kawaki's hypothesis that Boruto should be able to bestow his own karma, as he is now 80% Otsutsuki, along with Ida's ability being useless against Boruto and Kawaki, as they are considered being aliens, meaning Boruto might be able to perform more exclusive Otsutsuki techniques. So all in all, by now you should understand why Boruto will surpass Naruto and Sasuke. Yes, they both may have been gifted some extraordinary power from Hagoromo. Sasuke had the Rinnegan, Naruto had the Nine-Tailed Fox, and the Sage of Six Paths Ninjutsu, but all of this can be countered with the fact that Boruto has the karma that is changing his body into becoming an Otsutsuki, along with possessing the most mysterious and strongest Dojutsu that could exist, the Pure Eye. Naruto's and Sasuke's destiny was to end the cycle of hatred, but Boruto's destiny goes even further to the galactic and beyond, to fight the Otsutsuki King. But with that guys, that's the end of this video. Make sure to check out our good friend Ian from Naruto Explained. We'll have his channel linked in the comment section below. He honestly has amazing Naruto and Boruto analysis, and if you guys want us to do more collaboration with him, put it down in the comment section below. But with that guys, we'll catch you till next time.